Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm Jennifer Crowley, and I am co-author of the Life Care Management Handbook. I'm also co-founder of the Life Care Management Institute, and I have my colleague and business partner and co-author, Shanna Huber, with me. And we are joined by a special guest. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce our special guest that we're very excited to have with us, broadcasting from Florida, myself being in Montana and Shauna in Ohio. So Cindy Flowers is with Palm Aging Life Management. She is the co-owner of Palm Aging Life Management, a professional aging life care company in Florida. Cindy received her bachelor's degree from the University of North Carolina, Wilmington, and her master's from the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. She has worked for more than 30 years in the healthcare field, serving in leadership roles in skilled nursing and assisted living facilities and in-home healthcare. She holds a graduate certificate in care management from the University of Florida. She is a certified geriatric care manager and certified therapeutic recreation specialist. Cindy has served on the board of directors of the Florida chapter of the Aging Life Care Association and board of directors of the North Central Florida Alzheimer's Association. Hello, Cindy.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Ooh, listening to that wore me out.
Yeah, you have a wealth of experience, and we are just grateful to be here.
I was thinking about the years of experience, but how old I am. But thank you for having me. It's an honor, really. Thank you for allowing me to be a contributor to the book.
Thank you, Cindy. I learned so much from your chapter. And you contributed to chapter 38 so that everyone knows, which is all about marketing. It's a whole chapter dedicated to marketing. And what you teach care managers in that chapter is to describe the value that they bring to clients and to develop strategies to increase awareness. So one of my questions for you is, what are some of the ways that you describe the value of that care management provides to a situation?
Well, that's a good question because sometimes it's a little challenging to really nail down what we do as care managers. So I describe the value of what we do in the context of when someone needs our services. So I believe one of the greatest values is during a time of crisis or a time of transition, at least initially when you're a care manager. That's when we're brought on. So, and with that, I really talk about the other professionals that also assist during a time of crisis or transition. I think, for example, I address hospital discharge planners and assisting from discharge from the hospital to home or a rehab center. This is, a key component of what we do as care managers, really assisting with that process. Um, so, there's other agencies that we work with and professionals, and just making other care managers realize that if you're trying to market your business, really meet with those other professionals that work with patients in a time of crisis or transition.
Thank you, Cindy. And how do you go about raising awareness in your business?
Well, the first step is always just provide an exceptional service. And then you have others talking about what you do and what your business is doing. And it creates word of mouth marketing, or what we call sometimes referral marketing. You can go out and tell a lot of people about how great you are and all the services you could provide and just talk on and on and on. And you may not get any referrals based on that. But if you go out and do a really great job, you're going to have other people actually raising awareness for you. So, but there's other ways to raise awareness, community engagement, professional involvement, social media. I'm not the best with social media, but I know it's like cutting edge stuff. You have to have a Facebook page. But there's other ways, write an article for a local newspaper, maybe be a guest on a radio show or something like that. So.
Those are a lot of great tips. I know for me, it's hard to know where to put your efforts, and really all of it matters, right? But especially comes back to what you're doing in the situation and the outcomes that you have and building relationships from that. So Anyway, for someone just starting out in their business or considering starting a care management business, do you think it is important to do market research? And what does that mean exactly?
Yeah, market research, it sounds so academic, but market research does not need to be something complex. And actually, I had a lot of fun doing it when I first started my business. It's important to gather all that information, the demographics about your community, such as the number of potential clients in your area, what's their age, what's their income, what the future market will be, what possibly the growth patterns in your community. So, for example, if there's a ton of baby boomers in the community, that's not really a geriatric care manager's client base. But those baby boomers, are the sons and daughters, those are the ones that are going to be calling us for their parents. So that research is important, not just the demographics, but knowing who your competitors are. What are they doing? What are they charging? And also your potential referral sources. So before opening up a business, you've really got to do a little research.
So your life care practice is located in Northeast and North Central Florida. And I just wonder, what is it like to be an aging life care professional in Florida?
Other than being really, really hot in the summer, uh, it's it's really great to work in Florida because we have so many elders that live here. So that's a blessing for someone having a care management business. But it's unique. For example, we have hurricanes, and I have many clients who live on or near the beach. So we deal with potential evacuations, assisting with making sure our clients are safe, if that means getting them into a shelter or actually moving them to a hotel inland, whatever. We have some unique challenges. When we refer clients to an assisted living, I always find out, is that assisted living in a mandatory evacuation zone? So where's my client going to go during a hurricane? Well, they still have an advocate in, somewhere else. So, and we deal with that every year. So it's, that's quite a challenge. But I think the other thing that we have is there are so many seniors in Florida, and there's lots of choices. So there's almost like this choice overload. There's so many assisted livings. There's so many home care companies. So that's where a care manager really plays an important role, because we can guide them to those that are providing exceptional service. So that's what I would think is unique about working in Florida.
Yeah, and the sun shines a little more as well, and beautiful palm trees to look at, and
Oh yeah,
the foliage, right? That helps.
That's like icing on the cake.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and I like what you said about the disaster preparedness from a hurricane perspective, because you're right. Okay, well, we're talking, our industry is across the nation. And so, depending on where we practice, we'll have different scenarios that might play out based on like a natural disaster, or natural event occurring. But we always have to be prepared, especially if we have a client load that we feel we have some accountability, and responsibility for helping navigate, their well-being. And it's interesting, we have a chapter on disaster preparedness in the book. And in fact, there's a little sample of the emergency plan for a hurricane. And we thought that was very interesting and relevant, and you can apply it in a lot of different, manners for the care manager. So without going on too much about that, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the professional organization called the Aging Life Care Association that you are active in, and you have a leadership role there. So you can tell us a little more about that as well. But what are your thoughts on the industry, and how important is it to be part of a professional organization such as the Aging Life Care Association as a care manager?
Well, my thoughts on the industry, that's almost a loaded question. We need to protect our seniors, and the aging life care professionals, they should really be licensed in every state. To my knowledge, Florida is the only state working on this. And it should be an active movement in every state. Licensure is a measure to protect elders from those who just call themselves care managers. And they may not have any training or education or certification. I mean, heck, our hairdressers need to have a license, our nail techs need to have a license. And we're dealing with some, very vulnerable seniors. So anyway, that's, I don't want to get on my soapbox about it, but that's how my thoughts on the industry are. But on to that second part of that question about being a part of a professional organization, I think it's critical. It's first off, it's like your go-to source for resources, education, networking with fellow aging life care professionals. If I have a situation maybe I've never dealt with, I'll call one of them and say, hey, what do you think about this? And as it refers to marketing, I get a ton of referrals through the ALCA website. So I think that's good as well.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know you're in that leadership role of talking about licensure in your state. So that could be like a whole nother webinar on its own conversation. I think that's great that you're, pushing for that. And I was wondering, so you talk about staying involved in the community in your chapter and the importance, not only just for marketing, but we're all small businesses, and small businesses are typically the ones giving back to their communities. So I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about how you stay involved in your community and the importance of that.
Yeah, I love staying involved in the community. I especially love volunteering with our local Alzheimer's Association, the North Central Florida. Walking in the annual Walk to End Alzheimer's. It's so fulfilling. And for the last couple of years, serving as the chair of the walk, you get to meet so many nice people out there advocating for an end to Alzheimer's and dementia, which, we all work with that population. But because working with elders is a passion, I gravitate to those kinds of organizations serving seniors. So I'm really excited about a new project. I'm a founding member of a new local nonprofit. It's called Elder Care Resource Center, where we're going to be offering at no cost education and community resources to seniors and their families in the community. So yeah, it's important from a marketing standpoint, but I think people enjoy volunteering anyway. So.
And very good. And what advice do you have? So we were talking a little bit before we started going live about people just starting out and having so many questions about marketing or just in care management in general, trying to get going. So what advice do you have for those that are just starting out or maybe feel like they need a little spark of encouragement for their practice?
Yeah. Well, probably a couple of pieces of advice. My advice probably seems a little basic and simple, but I would encourage them to ask a potential referral source out for a cup of coffee. Develop that relationship. Tell them what makes you unique and what differentiates you from other care managers. Hey, I think being the new kid on the block can be actually a huge advantage. So that would be the first bit of advice. The second one would be find a mentor or someone, if you don't have one, find someone you respect. Ask them to be your mentor. They can offer you really good insight on how to grow your business, or simply by watching them and embracing their best practices, it can be very valuable. So those would probably be a couple of pieces of advice for both new care manager or somebody who's been doing it for a while.
That is great advice. I really want to thank you for your time to meet with us today and taking part of your Saturday. And we look forward to helping so many. And thank you for your contribution to the Life Care Management Handbook. Before we close, I just want to if anyone's interested in buying the book, you can go to our website, which is lcmexpert.com. And I want you to, Cindy, if you don't mind sharing how, if anyone's interested in getting in touch with you or learning about Palm Aging Life Management, how would they reach you?
Sure. Just the best way is probably our website, palmaging.com. It's got a little bit about our company and our phone numbers. And if there's anybody out there listening from this area, of course, and you need a care manager, reach out.
That's great. Thank you so much. And you have a great rest of your Saturday. Enjoy
Thanks
that.
for having me, guys. It was fun. Can't wait to get my book.
Yep, on its way. Thank you, Cindy.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Okay.